Business School Institute for Social and Social Entrepreneurship and Social Innovation. The Sustainable Enterprise axis of this institute. And I'm also a PhD candidate at Versailles University with research in ecological economics and sustainable development laboratory in Versailles. I will present you some results from an action research with Veolia Water. We are working for Grameen Veolia Water, which is a social business project in Bangladesh. Okay. This computer has a problem, not our key or disk. This is the computer. Okay, so okay. So this presentation is focused on the key point of base of the pyramid market, which is the market creation process. How to make a real market emerge in a community, a client base at the base of the pyramid. To explore this issue, I will rapidly present my theoretical framework, which is made of 3 parts in a pluridisciplinary and two-level organization. This framework is made of ecological economics and sustainability theory, including transition towards sustainability new research field, which is made in itself by some elements coming from evolutionary economy, STS, social and technology, science and technology studies, constructivist sociology such as actor network theory, and also guidance theory of social construction. The second part of my theoretical framework is made of components coming from the base of the pyramid literature, mainly from management or organization science. And the last part is the actor network theory, which is consistent with sustainability science, transition toward sustainability, but which is a separate component of my theoretical framework. So, three parts or not? Okay. I have a quotation from C.K. Pralad, which is passed away, but who was an eminent professor in management and especially in innovation management. Pralad and his colleagues state the following: the current economic system has placed enormous pressure on the planet while catering to the needs of only about a quarter of the people on it. But over the next decade, twice that number will become consumers and producers. Traditional approaches to business will collapse, and companies will have to develop new innovative solutions that will happen only when executives recognize a simple truth: sustainability equals innovation. This statement forms the base of the approach, or base of the pyramid. So we have to recognize that base of the pyramid do not share as much things with CSR. CSR is more in an instrumental, in a normative approach, coming from business ethics or some more sociological approach. But base of the pyramid is mainly consistent with an innovation and transformation, social transformation approach, as the Pralad quotation shows.
Is it, when you're ready there, we can switch. You know how to switch?
Yeah, now the computer
Okay.
doesn't.
Okay, well...
It's like a conspiracy.
yeah, well...
Not a computer. This PC is...
I think you just...
So,
you probably just forget it. And,
the base of the pyramid acronym stands for four ideas combined. First is a potential market segment at the base of the pyramid income with people under $2 purchase parity power by day. The second component of base of pyramid acronym is all about the specific poverty, specific socio-economic and anthropological conditions, resources, governance, etc. The third is the business strategies and practices for those markets and those consumers in this context, changing context. And the fourth is that consumption markets-based approach can be good for poverty alleviation and development. All those four ideas are combined in the base of the pyramid ideas. So, I will be quick on this. We have to consider base of pyramid as a pre-notion engaged in a double hermeneutic loop. I do not want to go further on this aspect, but we do not have to take base of pyramid as a concept, scientific concept, or as a pure fact. It's something engaged in a loop of discussion, of discourse, in a community with practitioners and with researchers. The pre-notion from Durkheim, pre-notion concept, and the double hermeneutic loop from Giddens can allow us to describe this nature of base of pyramid. To have a synthetic view of base of pyramid, we can talk about base of the pyramid proposal. This proposal, which is a very seducing proposal, is made of three parts. The first part is that with innovation effort, new goods and new services market can be created by multinational corporations corresponding to the need of people at the base of the pyramid. It will generate new income from companies. Those people can be seen as real market targets and not just as poor people. And companies have to take into account the context of those markets and those communities. Companies also can use the help of non-conventional business partners such as NGOs, scientists, anthropologists, for instance, or community member itself, leaders in community, or informal economy entrepreneurs coming from community. The second element of this synthetic view of base of pyramid proposal is that those of these offers, appropriate offers and innovation, and the consumption, new lifestyle, new habits that will emerge from the consumption can play a major role in alleviating poverty. This is a complementary way to tackle poverty and development, complementary to the classical public agency program or the NGO community-based program. And the third part of the BAP proposal, which is a part generally forgotten by people, is that, and you have this in the Stuart Hart or C.K. Prahalad seminal paper on base pyramid. Base pyramid must be some kind of niche innovation or some kind of laboratory innovation for companies, for sustainable business and transition towards sustainability. The idea of art and product is that in this little market, based on market, in this context, companies have free space to innovate, radically innovate for sustainability. Very good. These are some two iconic. We can shut up the. Okay, I think
you can do it from there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you have the lighting controls there. Lights. It's like room 1, room 2, room 2, room 3.
The two iconic schemes from basal pyramid. Here the basal pyramid, with the basal pyramid of income. And here are a figure coming from the basal pyramid protocol, which is a protocol to create market with 3 steps. And the reality of basal pyramid market is disappointing. We have market size estimates which are huge market size, with the ProAlad market size estimate to more little market size from Carnani. But the reality is that main markets, basal pyramid markets, are not real business but are philanthropic initiatives. Many basal pyramid markets are made by NGOs and not by corporations. Africa is not so much affected by those basal pyramid markets. And 2 questions are about the company's capacities, resources, and methods and means to escape the difficulty of creating markets basal pyramid, and the impact of those of market pyramid markets, impact on communities, impact on development. So the market creation is the key point, the key questions, the key issues for basal pyramid initiative. This formula, it's the formula many people have in mind. That is, you can add classical business as usual innovation practices. You add with participatory, community-based inspired methodology, community-based approaches. You add with a local knowledge gathering with anthropologists and other sociologists, and you get large market base with low margin business. This formula do not work, but that is the result of the data, the reality, and the operating experiences coming from basal pyramid. So, what is the problem? The problem is the process of market creation. So, the question of how can we better understand this process of market creation and how to help companies to manage good BOP initiative to create good markets with positive social impact and at least no harm for the community. Action measures Veolia have already explained. Okay, this is the step of this action measure. I will skip my framework I have explained. So sustainability, I will go directly to some figures and the key point for market creation and market making. These figures are the very iconic figures from sustainability literature. This is a co-evolutionary framework from Richard Norgaard. The idea is that those systems, value systems, socioeconomic systems, etc., co-evolve, are changing together at the same time with different paths, and transformation of this system of system is the process of development. Sustainable development, in this view, means that this trajectory of transformation of this system of systems will remain in some trajectory acceptable for all the components of this system. This is the idea of sustainability. So it's very innovation and transformation and change idea, not a static and defensive idea. Another well-known model, economic model for sustainability is the 4 capital model. You have this 4 forms of capital: economic organization, social organization, social capital, natural system, natural capital, and regulation, political sphere. All are interact in interplace. And what is important, and you have got it in this tetrahedral model, tetrahedral framework, what is important are the interfaces between the dimension, between the different forms of capital. So you have the classical social, economic, environment, and political governance, and you have all the interfaces. So, completely on the field, in an in-field research like Grameen Veolia, all those categories, all those conceptual frameworks appears to be very, very completely. You can see, for instance, the trade-off between social and environmental. It's something that is very concrete in a case like Grameen Veolia water. Those kind of matrix of models are very relevant for such innovations at the base of the Grameen innovation. This is coming from the Ostrom works, Ostrom resilience and socio-ecological systems works. This is a model adapted from a work about more agricultural program, but you can put in it a market creation, a basic pyramid market creation initiative, and you will have the same linkage, the same system relationship as in this Ostrom-inspired socio-ecological system-inspired model. And all this, when you go in the field of a basic pyramid initiative, will be very concrete. So, another very important sustainability property and sustainability concept are used and very useful, very relevant for based on the pyramid market creation is those of wicked problem. Maybe some of you, okay, 2 minutes. Wicked problem. Wicked problem is this kind of problem. It's a new class of problem with all those property, and based on the pyramid market creation, belong to this class of problems, the wicked problem class. It's a very important property of the pyramid. So I will use actor network theory. Maybe you know about actor network, but I have 2 minutes. It'll be too short. So actor networks give a way to describe the innovation process of innovation occurs. Actor network is a theory about why and how those specific socio-economic and socio-technical situations emerge and hold. This is the actor network's purpose. And actor network gives this grid to analyze a process of innovation with the probabilitization step, interestment step, enrollment, and allied mobilization. All these 4 steps are relevant for based on the pyramid market creation. And I go to the case very quickly. The case is that we have a situation of sanitary crisis with the arsenic crisis. Veolia and Grameen, the GV, Grameen Veolia Water, create a plant network, a water plant and a network with tap points, and a complete offer for water for poor people in a village in Bangladesh. This offer does not work in the first step because of a top-down, very technical approach. The cells do not thicken. It does not work. You have the detail in this. We have a stakeholder mapping. We can use the actors concept of actor network theory, and we can map the network of actors. We have natural actors, we have social group actors, we have individual actors. We can map all these actors. We can depict relationship, interest relationship, social norm relationship, etc. And we can understand the process, the market creation process through the actor network theory. So we go to the conclusion. We have some empirical findings. First is that top-down and technical market creation approach do not work. There was a problem of resources and management and capacity and organization management on the field in the Grameen Veolia team in Bangladesh. We have problem with epistemic and knowledge issue about arsenic crisis, arsenic in its social context. We have political and gender issues because people will get something, people will lose something. There's a change, a social change process. We have governance issues. The behavior are explained by some anthropological and social property. For instance, women have the rule of the purda, that is a rule of behavior in Bangladesh, which explain many of the behavior about water fetching. To conclude, theoretical thinking. Actor network theory is relevant for base pyramid market creation studies. Sustainability grid and concept are relevant for those markets. And transition towards sustainability research appear to be a good general framework to put in it basal pyramid initiative and to give a sense for basal pyramid initiative as laboratory for innovation for sustainable business. I will stop on this conclusion.
Thank you very much. We have 10 minutes for questions. Maybe a little less because of technical difficulties.
I would like to know what is Veolia's water take on the base of pyramid approach. Do they share the same kind of pre-notion items that you showed us on the literature review? Do they have their own idea on the base of the pyramid, and how did they confront Veolia water? Do they have their own approach, which might be very different from the literature that you reviewed?
Yes. There are two parts. First is that Veolia starts the project by an encounter with Mohamed Yunus. So the initiation of the project was just the iconic reputation of Mohamed Yunus as Nobel Prize of Peace. Okay, that's the initiation of the project. And second, as a company, as business people, they have heard of base of the pyramid, they have heard of social business. There's a movement, CSR movement, sustainability movement. They are in this mood, but they do not have read much about naturally academic article, and they do not have read, for instance, the Prahlad, the Fortune of the Base Pyramid. But they have sort of general ideas of base of the pyramid, and they are convinced of that.
Who are they?
They are the team, the management project team of Grameen Veolia, which is a director of Veolia Water. Member, yes.
Small team of 5 or
Maybe less than 5.
okay.
But in the company, in Veolia environment, the global company, there are many, not many, but 2 or 3 teams competing about basal pyramid market creation. So we work with the team which is allied with Mohamed Yunus and social business. Other team work with other NGOs or social entrepreneurs in other ways of creating basal pyramid markets. You have a sort of competition between the CSR department and some other more operational department.
Well, thank you very much.